People often say that love grows stronger when tested by adversity. But for James and Diep, love was no longer a romantic struggle, it was becoming a full-scale battleground. And standing on the opposite side wasn't a stranger, nor a ruthless rival, it was James's own father. The evening air hung still and heavy when James stepped into the family mansion, his heartbeat thrumming with excitement. He had made a decision, a life-changing one, and he was ready to announce it. He wanted to marry Diep. But before the words could even settle between the furniture and the marble floors, his father's face hardened like granite. Marry her? Now? Absolutely not. The voice that followed rattled the windows more fiercely than the wind outside. James froze mid-step. His mother looked up from the sofa, startled, already sensing the disaster she had long feared. Mr. Tron, powerful, prideful, unyielding, began pacing, each footstep landing like an accusation. That girl has nothing, he spat, no education. No proper background, and now she's raising someone else's child? What kind of future do you imagine for yourself? James clenched his fists, the muscles in his jaw tightening. He had braced himself for resistance, but not this level of contempt. Dad, he said steadily, you're wrong about her. Diep is hardworking, kind, and she's the woman I love. That's exactly the problem, Mr. Tron's eyes blazed. Love blinds you. You're thinking with your heart, not your head. You're throwing away your future for a girl who has nothing to offer, his mother intervened, voice trembling. Stop shouting. They truly care for each other, but her attempt at peace only ignited the flames further. Care? Caring doesn't run a company. Caring doesn't build a legacy. His father's voice grew thunderous. And I will not let my son ruin his life with his own hands. Silence engulfed the house, heavy, suffocating, unbreakable. James gazed at his father, not with anger, but with a quiet sorrow. He understood his father's intentions. Mr. Tron wasn't trying to wound him, he was trying to control the future in the only way he knew, through authority. Across the countryside, unaware of the storm brewing miles away, Diep stood at the sink washing dishes after dinner. She hummed softly, her mind fluttering with images of a simple but joyful wedding. She had no idea that at that exact moment, her name echoed in another home like a crime. Back in the mansion, James inhaled sharply, then spoke the words that would sever the fragile peace. No matter what you say. I will marry Diep. The table cracked under Mr. Tron's furious blow. "If you insist on this marriage," he shouted, "do not expect my blessing, or my support." The words sliced into James like a blade. His mother turned her face away, unable to watch the fracture widening between the two men she loved. For the first time in his life, James felt a line drawn, a deep, painful divide between him and the man he had always respected. And for the first time, he realized just how much courage his love for Diep was going to demand. From that night onward, James lived beneath the shadow of his father's disapproval. It followed him everywhere, into meetings, into phone calls, into the quiet moments he tried to claim for himself. But none of the pressure, none of the looming threats, compared to the fear of losing Diep. The more the world tried to pull them apart, the tighter he held on to her, like she was the last solid truth in a life rapidly unraveling. Every evening, after work, he made the long drive to her small countryside home. He always found her busy, washing vegetables, feeding chickens, sweeping the yard. Her long hair tied loosely behind her, her hands carrying the scent of soil and sunlight. And every time she saw him, her eyes softened, the kind of softness that could quiet the world. Each evening strengthened his resolve. There was nothing, no scandal, no business threat, no paternal fury, that would make him let go of her. Gossip spreads like smoke in the village, but Diep felt the storm creeping closer. Rumors slithered into the village, wicked and persistent. They said the young CEO's company was failing. They said the countryside girl was trapping him. They said the baby she carried wasn't his. Some women pitied her. Some envied her. Others eyed her with open disdain. One afternoon, while she arranged baskets of eggplants, an older woman leaned close and muttered, "Are you sure he'll still marry you? Rich men don't stay with girls like you, especially when their fathers object." Diep's hands tightened until her knuckles whitened. She swallowed the words she wanted to say, bowing her head instead. That night, James found her sitting alone on the wooden step outside her home, her eyes red though she tried to hide it. Without hesitation, he wrapped her in his arms. "I don't care what they say," he whispered. "I don't care who stands in our way. You're the woman I love. And I will marry you, soon." Very soon. For the first time all day, she allowed herself to breathe. Wrapped in his warmth, she realized. Even if the world turned against them, their love could still push back. James faces his father like a man determined to defend his heart. One evening, he returned to the mansion, no longer as a son seeking approval, but as a man standing up for the woman he loved. Mr. Tron sat beneath the golden light of the living room lamp, scanning financial reports with rigid concentration. "Father," James began, voice steady, "I'm marrying Diep. Nothing will change that." "Have you lost your mind?" he barked. "Your company is unstable. Investors are pulling out. Rivals are circling like wolves, and you want to marry a village girl?" "Now, especially now," James answered, "because Diep is the only person who stayed when everything else fell apart." "She is manipulating you," Mr. Tron snapped. "You are blind, James. Completely blind." "No," James replied, fists trembling, "I finally see clearly." The argument erupted into a storm, years of unspoken resentment bursting into the open. When James left the house, the door shook from the force with which he slammed it. A midnight confession changes everything. He drove straight to Diep's home, the night wind cooling the fire still burning in his chest. Diep was sweeping the yard under a dim bulb. When she saw him, she gasped, "James, what happened?" He didn't answer with words. He took her cold hands and pressed them over his heart. "My father may never bless our wedding," he whispered, "but I refuse to wait any longer." "I want to marry you, as soon as possible." Her eyes widened. "James? Your father will hate me." "Everyone already thinks we're too different. I don't want you to lose everything because of me." "You're not the reason I'm losing anything," he murmured, pulling her close. "You're the reason I'm still standing." Her resistance crumbled, the last of her doubts melting into his embrace. "We're getting married," he whispered. No more waiting. Through trembling tears, Diep nodded. "Then I'll marry you, James." The news explodes, and so does Mr. Tron. Some people blessed them, some predicted disaster. Most were simply stunned. Hours later, the news reached Mr. Tron. His reaction shook the walls of James's office. "Have you lost your sanity?" he roared. "I will not allow this wedding." James remained calm, steady behind his desk. "It's not your decision anymore. You think investors won't laugh at you? You think your business will survive this disgrace?" Mr. Tron pointed a trembling finger at him. "If you walk this path, don't expect my help ever again." The words pierced him, but he didn't bend. "I'm not marrying for money," James said quietly. "I'm marrying for love." His father turned away, then faced the consequences alone. Love in a lantern-lit room. That evening, James returned to Diep's village, his heart heavier, but his resolve unbroken. Diep was sewing small white flowers onto a simple handmade wedding dress. When she saw his expression, she knew. Your father, yes, he whispered. He's cutting everything, support, connection, everything. The thread slipped from her fingers. James. Maybe we should wait. I can't let you lose your family because of me. He knelt beside her, taking her trembling hands. You didn't take anything from me, he said softly. You gave me something I never had, a home in someone's heart. Her tears fell freely, her forehead pressing against his. The small lantern flickered in the corner, filling the room with warm, fragile light. But to the two of them, it felt like the safest place in the world. Outside, the wind rustled the banana leaves, carrying the village's murmurs. Inside, two determined souls silently vowed to face every storm together. Their wedding would be small. Simple, fragile in the eyes of society, but to them, it was the bravest beginning they could choose. And not even a father's fury could stop the love they had chosen.